operate and maintain the hydropower plants in good working condition. But also the challenge we have now is to sustain the good financial performance we've registered in 2019.
Meanwhile, the chairperson, Electricity Generation Company Board, has formally introduced Mrs. Hope Bizimana and Paul Mwanja as the two new board members to the Ministry of Finance. In her interaction with UEGCL top officials, the State Minister for Investment, Evelyn Anite, emphasized the need for upholding high levels of integrity.
And both of you, so please, we still just now come and preach that gospel of non-corruption that the new elements you learn from UEGCL and tell your other staff and friends in the Ministry of Finance.
As one of the successor companies of the then Uganda Electricity Board, UEGCL is one of the government agencies supervised by the Ministry of Finance. Dennis Igor for UBC News in Kampala.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Now moving on, Uganda Airlines has commenced commercial operations to the island of Zanzibar in Tanzania. Now Uganda's flight UR302 was received at Abeid Amani Karume International Airport in Zanzibar with full traditional honors.
Zanzibar is the 8th destination on Uganda Airlines regional network. The airline, which commenced commercial operations 3 months ago, currently flies to Nairobi, Mombasa, Juba, Bujumbura, Dar es Salaam, Kilimanjaro, and Mogadishu using a fleet of 4 Sierra Leone Navy jetliners.
We have many more destinations to connect. I think Johannesburg is one. Harare, Lusaka, Addis. We have the Eastern DRC, which is Lubumbashi and Goma. We have Kinshasa to connect. We have Khartoum in the north.
The airline CEO Cornwell Mulea says they have so far cruised steadily in the so-called turbulent East African skies.
In the beginning, we are still finding our foot in the market with a lot of system issues which we have corrected. And now that we have corrected, we have seen that the loads are quite impressive on most of our routes. And also, as you know, we have gained a reputation as being the airline that has the best service in this region. So we are capitalizing on that and making sure that all our passengers, wherever we go, they can experience this type of operation.
Zanzibar has over the years been ranked as the quintessential destination that offers superlative historical, cultural and ecotourism beach experiences in East Africa. These attributes rhyme perfectly with Uganda Airlines people, places and culture mantra. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Samuel, there. And moving on, after the boat cruise tragedy about AIGO, water transport safety measures have been put in place by the government to ensure there's safety on our waters. Now, due to increased demand for this kind of transport, especially for leisure lovers, MV Natalie, a new built boat, is on Lake Victoria to give Ugandans the best experience on the water.
Most people, they like to use the boats on the weekends, so we found a challenge where when we were taking people to Kalangala, other people that wanted to use the boat for private charters, we were not able to accommodate for their needs. So now MV Natalie is going to be used mostly for private hires. And then next year we are still in the optic of starting a route to Jinja. Jinja is still an area where we see a lot of potential, and we want to open up that possibility for people in Uganda in general. We want to show that we have an amazing lake. We have beautiful islands on it. We even have places like Jinja, which are not even an island, but can be reached by boat.
It's not that Ugandans don't have time to come and enjoy Uganda. Ugandans have time for other things. People have time for the bar and time for these places. The truth is that we're missing out on opportunities. If you're not exposed to these things, you'll never understand how to invest in them. First, we want to thank the guys who put in money, the guys who are putting the money to invest in this boats, MV Vanessa and MV Natalia. These guys are opening the water bodies for us as a country. As a country, we probably miss about $60 to $60 billion a year of unutilized water bodies because we fear water. But I think it's time for us to start engaging our children. If we fear, let's engage our children. Let them learn how to swim early. Let them not have fear for water. When you fear stuff, you will never exploit them. If you fear lions, you will never send clients to see the lions. Yet there's an opportunity in those places. Uganda's opportunity lies in exploitation of our natural resources, including water bodies. Now, for those who are out there, take advantage of these water bodies. Come and enjoy them over the weekend. These guys do charters.
Okay, well, as long as the issue of safety is discussed, then definitely there's need to prepare our young people beforehand if we're going to look at water transport, but also investment in it, which means having the right kind of vessels on there that are up to the standards is something that also needs to be looked into. Now, moving on, the Uganda Tourism Fraternity is at crossroads in battling the setup of a hydropower dam at the Murchison Falls National Park in the quest to increase the national hydropower generation. Now, the tourism private sector held a press conference at the falls there, the Uhuru Falls, to demonstrate their disregard towards this move.
We are going to fight for our falls. No one should touch them.
This is a chant of a frustrated tourism private sector after government expressed prospecting the setup of a hydropower plant at Uhuru Falls, Murchison's seasonal twin fall at the park.
Why do you remove this natural heritage and then you borrow so much to construct a dam and you destroy what you have been getting for free? Already the government is telling us they are producing electricity in excess and we are already paying for that electricity which is generated and is not used. And they want to destroy a dam, the falls, which are natural, which are not demanding any investment, and then we destroy them just because we want to invest, generate much more electricity, and we pay for what we have not consumed. It is something which beats anybody's sane mind.
With the current power demand growing at a rate of 10% per annum, government is prospecting the falls as a viable hydropower source if we must generate 40,000 megawatts of electricity as per the NRM vision of 2040.
The 25 industrial parks, as directed by His Excellency the President, being constructed across the country will need huge volumes of power to accelerate industrialization, value addition and job creation. The excess power we are enjoying currently will be absorbed as soon as these industries are completed and they are switched on.
Hydropower generation in Uganda comes with a controversial history of encroaching on the natural waterfalls in Uganda, which has along the years affected the tourism industry that boasts of being one of Uganda's highest foreign exchange earners.
So what you are addressing, my colleague, is a development debate on how you balance development and protection of your natural endowments. So the decision of cabinet, and take it from me, the decision of cabinet after a long debate was nothing doing unless this study shows that you can have hydropower station without disrupting the conservation nature of the falls.
Murchison Falls is one of Uganda's top tourist destinations that attracts over 40% of international tourists that visit Uganda.
Again, it is interesting to learn that the company which is doing the feasibility study is the company which has been contracted to do the construction of the dam, just in case the feasibility study report favors them.
Actually, Murchison Falls brings the leading number of tourists into the country. If you look at the stats of all the national parks, it surpassed Queen Elizabeth around 2014, and up to about 32% of the tourists who come around into the country come to Murchison Falls.
Bonang Power and Energy Limited, the prospective company, is currently undertaking a feasibility study to assess the environmental impact of the proposed hydropower project. Incidentally, the Ministers of Energy and Tourism have been reshuffled out of their respective ministries, leaving new ministers to follow up on the Murchison Falls matter. Reporting for UBC, Wadilo Markanold at Murchison Falls National Park.
Quite interesting that the same company that is contracted to build the dam is the same company doing a feasibility study. Well, we'll see how that plays out. It seems like we already do know how it would. But moving on, we're still looking at electricity. And we're looking at the Electricity Regulatory Authority there, which is set to introduce the declining, the declining block tariff there, which will give opportunity to industrialists to enjoy discounted power. And a declining block tariff here is a tool used by electricity regulators to increase power in this power consumption through offering low-priced electricity to consumers who utilize more than the set targets. And according to Electricity Regulatory Authority there, the proposed tariff energy consumed shall be distinguished into energy sold at normal tariff based on that existing tariff methodology, and additional consumption shall be billed at a lower tariff, which is the declining block. Now, how it will work here, we're looking at the fact that industrialists will be given what they would call an individual target for electricity consumption, and when they hit this particular target, the electricity purchased after will be sold at a discount. For instance, if a manufacturer that normally consumes about 1,000 units in a month is given a target to consume 1,200 units and instead consumes about 1,300 units, then the targeted 1,200 units would be purchased at the normal tariff, while the additional consumption of the 100 units will then be bought at a lower tariff. And what they're looking at here is that they're saying that the declining block tariffs here will be set on a quarter basis, while individual targets for industries or other industrialists will be annual. Now, the declining block tariff expected to be rolled out in January 2020, and of course subject to be to approval of the Electricity Regulatory Authority at all. And what they're looking at is that they'll all begin to apply to extra large and large industries, and of course now they're looking at the bigger industries that may be able to consume the extra units that we are talking about here. The objective is that the regulator seeks to increase power demand, which currently stands at about what we're looking at 650 megawatts, despite what they're looking at here in the fact that we have a capacity, or rather looking at generation capacity, which is expected to rise at 1,800 megawatts next year. So I'll not exhaust that. We're going to take a very quick break and we'll be right back.
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. Yes! We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data, and SMS with our 3-in-1 My Pakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family this season. To activate My Pakalast voice combo, dial *100*2*1# to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
What's wrong with being stuck?
To lose your temper would die. Kidnapping people.
Maybe in America. Maybe in America.
Go ahead. Holy boss story. Cool?
No, it's not cool.
Cool.
No, it's not cool.
Tired?
Yeah. Maybe it's time to try something new.
You really need to see this.
Well, I'm glad that you are still with us. Now, in case you missed what happened yesterday in regards to the ICT Expo there that happened, we're going to take you through a number of things, and we'll be taking you in for the speech of His Excellency there that he was able to give while at the Expo, and then after that, the outgoing Minister for ICT, Frank Tumwebaze.
For the word, when you say customer care, customer, don't know what. But the word is omnichannel, plural. Omnichannel, one. Omnichannel is that need which needs to be solved. Societal need or individual need. So therefore, businesses are there to solve any channel of people. This channel, transport. Now, the other person who has assembled information about real estate, the one I think is the one who spoke first, that one has solved our channel of knowledge, of information. He has solved it and put it together. So if you want to know which property to buy, at what price, and how reliable is it, you go to him. So and Africans slept long ago. In French they say, beaucoup dormir. Okwela Kiradara. And in the Musongo have got a village called Lambara. That means where people are asleep. So you people here, you seem to be waking up. And our young daughter from California has been here. I have actually met her. She came some years ago and very sharp, and was able to identify that there is a lot of Emicheno, because Africa is a continent of Emicheno. Yeah. And that's why there are plenty of opportunities, because where there are Emicheno, that's where there is business opportunity. Where the Emicheno are less, the business opportunities are restricted, because what will you solve? Most of the problems are already solved. So what will you solve? But here, everything needs a solution. This one needs a solution. This one needs. So you are in the right place at the right time. And as you said, we anticipated your issues. Many years ago, I worked with the Chinese, and we built the ICT backbone, the underground cable, which can take all the data and all the words. Before that, information was going through the satellite. But satellite was very expensive. I think something would cost like $600 or something like that, per something. But when we built the underground cable, the ICT backbone, that problem was solved. Then there was a gap between the ICT backbone and the sea, under the sea. We didn't have the undersea cable. The undersea cable was bypassing us, was coming from Asia, going through Eden and the Red Sea. But your company, UTL, and some other people invested in the undersea cable. So we have now got undersea cable from Mombasa going north, and I think also going south to Cape Town. I think we also have undersea cable there. So that problem is now solved. The one of the highway for this information is now there. So that's correct. That what we are doing now is to wake up and look for answers to your people's numerous needs, numerous micheno. And it so happens that once you solve a micheno, you create a wealth for yourself, but you also create jobs for others. So I'm very happy to be here. And what I was telling you is that, what I've been telling you, using and making. Yes, it's good that you wake up and learn how to use machines, gadgets developed by others. But it's good that you also learn how to make your own. That's the challenge I've been telling you. In the army, they set up some military industry somewhere where they were making bullets. But the bullets they were making, they were getting powder from China, getting brass from somewhere else, and simply putting them together. And they called this Rural Industries. I said, okay, that's good. It's better than nothing. But why do you have to use imported gunpowder from China? Gunpowder is from cotton. It's nitrocellulose. You apply nitric acid to cellulose and you make gunpowder. Why don't you make it? So they seem to have woken up now, and they are going to make gunpowder. And even so, the moment you do all that, you are secure. You do whatever you want to do. But it's correct, it is good to start with the assembly. If you can assemble and use other people's gadgets to solve omnichannel for now, and in the process you get some money, then later on you can go deeper and go into making. So innovations, that person, that group who have made a scanner to look at the fetus in the womb, and they are making it at $2,000. I think that is the man there. They are making it at $2,000, and apparently the imported ones are $20,000. So you can see the Okwebak, Lambara. So, saving money, instead of spending $20,000 to equip a health center, you can now spend $2,000. But in the process, you also create jobs for that man and the people who are working with him.
Spending over 50 billion Ugandan shillings in procurement of foreign IT solutions. I think Ministry of Public Service, I beg to be corrected, they recently procured a system of 50 billion for human capital management. Now, we want to state and say that all of these systems, all of these you see, they are not in any way different from what they procure. So, what I leave on the table for my colleague incoming minister is we are proposing a law, because we've been encouraging, we've been lobbying. People seem to be having more appetite for procuring expensive IT solutions from abroad than checking what is in our local ecosystem. So we are coming up with a local startups bill that compels every accounting officer to first exhaust the market and then look outside. This is not in any way, some form of protectionism, but it is in line with our BUBU policy. Your Excellency, where we are here, this is the Uganda ICT Institute. It's a government institute that trains our young people in information technology. There is also a plan to transform this, because we are simply saying that offering degrees and diplomas and certificates in basic computer courses is not a problem. Every other university is doing that. So the plan we have, which is part of our blueprint, is to transform this one into a center of digital excellence. We would want to see here an artificial intelligence center. We want to see here deep machine learning center. We want to see here blockchain training and how these emerging technologies can be used in practical sense. So in the next 3 to 5 years, the ministry will be launching an ambitious plan of transforming this institute. Because it is the same institute, Your Excellency, that gave us land to build the hub. So combined together, the hub and the institute should be able to give us a digital center of excellence that will be able to advise and project the country into a competitive edge. Second point, Your Excellency, of our digital blueprint after connectivity is e-government services. Because the question is, when we connect to the internet, which we pay for, what is the dividend out of that? Dividend number one are these innovations. Dividend number two should be to create efficiency in government operations. Why should people line up for driving permits? Why should people line up for passports? Why should people line up at the Ministry of Lands every day to search whether a land title is encumbered or not? So we want government agencies to take services online. I think so far, quite a number of them have taken it online, but they do it on an optional basis. So I think also a compelling policy should be there. Why shouldn't you take services online for efficiency, for fighting corruption? I want to congratulate Your Excellency for the renewed fight on fighting corruption and let you know that there is no other partner you have than technology entrepreneurs. Because the more you automate, the more you totally eliminate human contact, and therefore corruption will be no more. Take an example of an application on procurement, which you were exposed to at the corner there. Corruption now takes place in evaluation committees because bidders are colluding with the few people evaluating a big project. Just imagine all this being online. You submit your bids online, you are assessed online, so whom will you lobby? Whom will you bribe? That software they have developed it will not recognize your lobby. So Your Excellency, automation and digital transformation is the real solution to give you a corrupt-free economy. Exactly what we are doing today, supporting the evolution of knowledge products.
which you have seen and we've talked about quite often. And the fourth one, sir, is cyber security and safety. And that's where we know you're a great ally, because from the security point, cyber warfare is another form of, you can either attack or defend yourself online. Now, these innovators are bearing that in mind, because if you develop a system that you are convincing the governor of Bank of Uganda to buy and be able to put together his treasury resources as well as Ministry of Finance, you must be able to give them assurance that your system is resilient enough to protect their online resources. So, Your Excellency, our digital journey is defined by those pillars, and the ministry is really clearly focused on going forward. Finally, Your Excellency, two specific requests these innovators are putting forward to government. One, they are requesting that the seed fund is scaled up so that more ideas are supported at the initial stage. Because we've been able to support 70 plus 6 hubs. Hubs, Your Excellency, are companies where you find BPO centers, where you find all of these innovations. They collect young people, they put them in a room, they mentor them, and they are allowed to dream. And it's from those dreams that these innovations come up. So they are requesting that we have that fund scaled up, because out of 300 applications we get every year, as Minister of ICT, I think this year, the PS and his team were able to support 70, most qualifying. But that did not mean that the others were useless. They were equally good, but the funds were limiting. The second request, they are asking government and government agencies to give them preference in the procurement of IT solutions, because that's the more sustainable way. If I have developed an app and nobody buys me, I am as good as useless. And I can tell you, Excellency, all of these apps we use, email, Twitter, if the world did not buy them or use them, their innovators or founders wouldn't be big names. So today in this room, we could be having a big name in the making for the next 10 years who will influence how business is done. And I want to congratulate at this point Ugandans, innovators, whose applications have been able to cut the edge and get recognition at the international level. Stone there, we wave at you. His innovation has been able to get recognition and at the global level, and he lives in France. He's been able to find a market there. If a Ugandan innovation can find a market in France, that's validation, and that's proof that our ecosystem is rich.
Just days after the president reshuffled cabinet, more work lies ahead for the new ICT minister, Judith Nabakoba, as she awaits officially assuming office to replace outgoing ICT minister, Frank Tumwebaze. The two, who accompanied the head of state at the first ever ICT Innovations Expo held at Uganda Institute of Communication in Nakawa, witnessed technologies that have solutions to the problems affecting society.
At IICS, we have developed a system to manage medicines in hospitals, to avoid stealing of medicine, because we track medicines right from the supplier to the store.
To create more jobs, to date we have created 7 jobs, but with more support we shall create more jobs for Ugandans, and we hope to export prisms as an ICT product.
And it so happens that once you solve by order, not by persuasion.
To achieve more robust innovations in Uganda, more funds and preference need to be channeled to supporting innovations from initial stages to maturity.
Because out of 300 applications we get every year, as Minister of ICT, I think this year the PS and his team were able to support 70, most qualifying. But that did not mean that the others were useless. They were equally good, but the funds were limiting.
So how can we have money to promote Nyanya and MBC and all those things, and we don't have money to promote scanners. Now, what sort of economics is that? Once you show that you can use it, we shall get the money.
The outgoing minister leaves a challenge to telecom operators as MTN announced the introduction of unlimited data.
Today, customers can buy data bundles from MTN that have no longer an expiry date. Your bundles won't expire. So operators, we shouldn't be forced to regulate you, but if you comply and move with best practices, the sector will be a win-win for us.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at UICT in Nakawa.
Well, that's what we had for you this particular morning, but we do appreciate you for watching Business Today. We come Monday to Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. My name is Rowena Kajumba. From me and the entire business team, have yourselves a good day.